Good afternoon, good evening, and Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to KerbSide Collections, a special Christmas edition with my new friend, Jem Rose.
Hey Adam, how you
Um,
doing?
yeah, good mate. How are you? Thanks for suggesting this idea for one.
That's okay. I think we were just saying that when we first thought of this idea, we thought there was going to be a really big list, but it turns out to be a bit shorter.
It is a bit shorter. So basically what we're doing in this episode, we're going to name our five favorite and from five through to one each of Christmas movies made this millennium, I'll say, this century
Yeah.
even. So anything made from 2000 onwards or 2001 onwards, technically, if you want to be picky about it. One of these might be in the 2000 year. I'm not sure, to be honest. But basically, yeah, so because basically, I guess around Christmas time, everyone watches their old Christmas favorite movies, and not many of them are made this century, really. So Jem had the bright idea to come up with this.
I just thought it would be good to do a list of our favorite Christmas films, but not including the ones that everyone talks about. You know, every podcast has a list where they talk about your Home Alones and all the classics. And so it'd just be good to try something different.
Yep, I totally agree. And I just need to make some adjustments to mine because it's silly. But anyway, that's all good. We will get to that as we get to it. Anything else we want to talk about while we're there, or do we want to just get stuck into it?
Let's get stuck in.
Make it a quick episode. So this should be dropping before Christmas Day 2024. So hopefully you've got a couple of days to listen to our recommendations. I'm going to let you start, being that was your idea and you're the guest. What's your number five?
Okay, so my number five is it is a rom-com. It's a bit of a sappy one. Came out maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I think, and it's called Last Christmas. So
Okay.
it's a Christmas film, which I think one of the things that I really liked about it is that I'm not familiar with George Michael's music very much, and all the music in the film is they're all George Michael songs, and so it's a rom-com. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil any of the story, but it's
Hmm.
got Emilia Clarke in it, who at the time was riding high on Game of Thrones fame, and
Yes, yes.
it's a pretty conventional sort of rom-com, but probably one of the better ones. It's just got a lot of heart and it's a nice story. Do you remember
I'm
seeing it?
honestly, no, I haven't actually. So you've taken me by surprise there, to be perfectly honest. I honestly have not seen that. So,
I tried to go
yeah.
for some different ones. There's one or two really famous ones that I didn't include because I thought that you might, but we'll see.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, that's okay. We're going to get to. We're also going to talk about our honorable mentions, if I can spit that out. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, we'll mention as much good stuff as we can, but we'll just have got a ranked top five. So, Last Christmas, number five. I'm going to write this down so I can go
Oh.
through them at the end and remind everyone what we've spoken about. My
What's
number
your number
five.
five?
My number five is an animated movie, a Japanese animated movie called Tokyo Godfathers.
I don't think
It
I've even heard of this one.
it's I've only seen it the once. I do own it. I've got the Blu-ray of it, and it is something I've been meaning to watch again for a long time. And it's such a beautiful, heartfelt movie because it's basically about three homeless people in Japan. It's winter, obviously, in Japan during Christmas, and they basically find each other. There's a young girl that comes to them with a young baby, and they basically kind of adopt her, look after her on the streets. And it's just kind of goes through there, like their trials and tribulations in these few nights over Christmas. And it's a spectacular watch, a very human movie, actually.
Okay.
Really, really loved it. Remember
How
really
how,
loving it. So,
how
sorry.
long ago did it come out?
Let's look that up. Tokyo Godfathers. 2003. It came
Okay.
out. I only watched it a couple of years ago. Satoshi Kon. You might have heard of Satoshi Kon. He's directed. I think he did Paprika and Perfect Blue, which I'm still yet to see. Perfect
Yeah,
Blue.
I've heard of that as well.
Yeah. So he's
What sort of animated style, well, like animation style is it?
it's not. Yeah, I wouldn't call it anime specifically. Look, it is anime, but it's kind of more like an 80s style anime. So I'm
Yeah,
not sure
okay.
if you've watched any old 80s styles.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's very much like that. So even I can't think of the show at the moment. I'm picturing it in my head. I'm sorry, I really can't think of it at the
That's
moment.
okay.
Sorry. Yeah,
At the end, I'll get you to give me your list and then I'm gonna watch them.
yeah, yeah. Do that. And same. I'll have to. Well, yeah, definitely. We'll have to do the same with yours. I'm glad We're introducing each other stuff this early,
Definitely.
and it's great.
If we had
Yeah,
the same top five, it would be boring.
it would absolutely. And we've kind of had that bit of a fear that we might too, because considering there aren't that many to choose from.
No,
Considering,
less than you'd think.
yeah, yeah, sadly. But it is
Unless
only
we're including
4 years
Hallmark
in, isn't
films.
it? What's your number four?
Okay, so my number four I only watched recently. I've been waiting to see it for a really long time, and it always missed my radar. The reason why is because I only watch Christmas films at Christmas. I can't watch them any other time. As soon
Okay.
as it hits Boxing Day, I just I have no interest, and I don't really feel
Oh
Christmassy
wow,
until December 1st at the earliest, but usually mid-December. So there's like a 10-day window that I can watch Christmas films. Otherwise,
that's
I'm just not in the
interesting.
mood. So I kind of have to cram them in. So I only watched this one recently, just a couple of nights ago, and it's
Hmm.
called The Night Before. It's a comedy. Joseph
Trump.
Gordon-Levitt. Yes.
I'm going to try to explain the rules at the start
No,
of
you
this
didn't.
for our
Tell them
listeners.
what that means.
Sorry. Yeah. So basically, if one of us nominates a movie and the other one has it ranked higher, we'll trump it and we'll talk about it when the other one has it a bit
Sounds
higher on
good.
their list. So
All right, what is your fourth?
my fourth is, and again, this is only a movie, similar story to Tokyo Godfathers, is that it's a movie I've only seen once and I've been meaning to watch. I actually had it on my shelf ready to watch here just 2 nights ago. Bad Santa. Um,
Trump.
Trump. Okay. All right. All right. So do your number three then?
Okay, so my third is Bad Santa, but
Okay.
I haven't specifically said one or two because I kind of lumped them in together. They are incredibly funny movies. Have you seen the sequel, the second one?
I honestly don't know. I
I,
know I've seen the first one, and it was
I
obviously a very long time ago.
yeah, I think I really put number two as the one on my list. Number one is still very good, but number two
Wow,
is it is
interesting.
outrageously offensive. Some of the
Yeah, good.
things that he says
Okay.
and some of the things that just the names they call each other. I saw it in the
Yep.
cinema at Christmas time in the UK when I was living there, and
Hmm.
I think I saw it with a friend, and the amount of times we looked at each other with open mouths, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they just said that." It is outrageous. It's very funny, very dark, and very dirty. All of the things, those sort of films that you sort of grow up on from the 80s, it really that we didn't really get in the 90s as much. It sort of brings that back.
Yeah, good.
But yeah,
Okay.
tell me why Bad Santa one's on your list.
Purely for the simple fact that I was scrambling for movies. Because again, I've only seen it once, and I remember the way my memory works is that I remember whether I like it or I don't like it, or the feeling it gave me at the time I watched it. So I remember
I know
really
what you
liking
mean.
Bad Santa. I know its reputation holds up and stands up. So I was like, I can't find anything else in here with that I've watched more recently. So that's how much I was scrambling for a top five. So yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about it because I want to rewatch it. It was probably a bad idea to do that, but I know it belongs in the top five in this type of list.
Yeah, I need a rewatch as well. I'd like to do
Yeah,
them as a double, maybe. Yeah, that second one is very funny.
I'm going to have to look for number two on Blu-ray then at least as well, because yeah, that would be a good idea to have them both. Yeah, got a couple of weeks off after a couple of days, so yeah,
Oh,
we'll
nice.
get around to that.
Who is your
Uh,
number three?
my
Or
number
what?
three is I love this movie and throw rocks at me all you want, but I love how the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just mostly. Well, look, I'm a big Dr. Seuss fan. I loved him when I was a kid, and when my kids were little, had a big box set of Dr. Seuss books that I would read to them. I think they're much more deeper in meaning than I guess their surface would show. But I love how the Grinch Stole Christmas a lot, mostly for Jim Carrey's performance. I think he's just doing incredible work in this movie. Honestly, almost Oscar worthy nomination type of work.
Wow.
He's superb. And again, it's a good type of classic style Christmas movie where I guess people learn lessons, the whole town comes together as one, and it's
Yeah.
just that type of heartwarming type of story. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Do you
actually
have
forgot
many
about that
memories of it?
movie.
Or?
Yeah, I've only seen it once, and it was probably more
Okay.
recently. It came out, was it mid 2000s?
Yeah, around
2006
yeah.
maybe?
I should have written the
Um,
years next to them, to be
I only
honest. That would have
watched it
been a
recently for
smart
the first
idea.
time. It's good.
Did you get the 4K?
No, it was before, it was pre 4K.
Okay. It was actually come out in at yeah, the year 2000 is when it was
Oh,
released.
okay, there
So
you go.
it counts.
Is the
Sneaks
4K a good
in.
upgrade?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like it's a nice, colorful movie. So yeah, it looks very good in 4K. But I didn't have a Blu-ray to compare it to. So
Sure.
4K was the first time I owned it on physical. But yeah, yeah, definitely looks great.
Yeah, I have read a couple of interviews with Jim Carrey where he said the makeup process was just
Mm,
torturous.
yes,
Did it for the kids.
yes, absolutely. Like he had to actually do some training with like Navy, was it
Yeah,
Navy
I saw that.
SEALs
Yeah,
or
for torture.
yeah,
Yeah, just to try and
yeah.
get through it. I think he sat in the chair for hours and hours every morning, which it'd
Mm.
be hard.
And it was heavy and yeah,
Yep.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do
Where
love him.
nowadays it'll. just be a bit of digital work probably.
Yeah, probably. I love, yeah, I mean, especially Jim Carrey's 90s work is just
Mm,
unbelievable. Just hit
yeah.
after hit after hit. And so, I mean, I
Yes.
want to go see the new Sonic film just because
Oh
he's in
yeah.
it. You don't get to see him in
100%.
anything anymore.
I I look, I'm a big defender of the first two Sonic movies. I especially like the first one. The second one was, I think, was quite good. And I am keen to go watch number three. But my kids are a bit grown up, so that might be creepy old man in the cinema by himself watching that. I
Maybe,
don't. I
maybe.
might have to wait till it's been around for a little bit to go and
Yeah,
when it's a
sure.
bit quieter. But I'm keen to see it. We're on to number twos.
All right, so number two, I think it's probably one of my top favorite comedies ever.
Mm.
It also happens to be a Christmas movie. It's called Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds, Amy Smart,
Ah,
and
yes.
I
Is that a
think
Christmas movie?
It is. It's set at Christmas. It's all around Christmas. It is Reynolds' best film. It's
Oh
funny. It's
wow.
romantic. Anna Faris, if you're a scary
Yep.
movie fan, she's in it,
Yep. Yep.
and she is absolutely unhinged.
Oh, I may have seen this because he's back
Yeah,
in the on the
he
cover
is.
of it.
Yeah, yeah. And then
And
he
then
like,
obviously,
becomes a record executive and ends up having to go back to his hometown.
yep,
And yeah,
he's
it's
he's lost a lot of weight, obviously.
yes, very
Oh,
successful. It's just a really funny film.
yeah, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this, to be honest, but it would have been that long ago. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely
yeah,
worth a revisit.
I would have watched it because of Amy Smart. I had a bit
Yeah,
of a crush on her back in the day.
she's great in it
Um,
as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wonder what
Yeah.
happened to her. Why did she disappear? I wonder.
Yeah, same with Anna Faris. I don't know. But
Yeah,
me and my brothers when we were younger, we used to definitely beat each other up quite a lot. And the sibling rivalry in it is just legendary.
yeah, right. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. I'm even gonna see if it's on any streaming service because I could watch that before I go to sleep tonight.
That's good. Yeah, that's one of
Um,
my absolute favorites.
that's cool. No, it's not on any streaming service because why would it be? This is why we collect physical media,
That's right.
so we
I'll
can
send you
watch it
my
when we want to
copy.
watch it. Yeah, well, no, well, you can't burn them anymore. I don't know. Yeah, probably not possible. On to my number. My number two then
Yes.
is The Night Before.
Oh, there we go.
This has quickly become a Christmas staple for me. I watched this maybe last on the weekend just gone. Yeah, it's just so funny, man. It's just great. And
There
just
was a
for so
couple
many
of
reasons.
there was two or three scenes in it where I was literally rolling from left to right on the couch crying. I was laughing so hard.
Do you want to tell me which one? Because I want to see if it's the same as mine,
The
which I
scene
think
when
is the best.
the scene where he's on shrooms in the church and he thinks the babies are swearing
Yeah.
at him,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
had me in tears.
Yeah.
And then the scene where he accidentally crucifies the football star at
Yes.
the
Oh,
end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It does. I like it when he's it's just before he goes into the church where he has that discussion with the nativity scene, and Jesus's name is Spencer. I mean, that's just funny as shit. Where he's just, hi,
That
I'm
was so
Spencer.
good.
It's like, oh, hi, Spencer. It's so funny. But it's just why has he invented Spencer in his head? I don't know. It's just so random. That I love that type of humor. Yeah.
It was so
Um.
I
And
felt I was sad that it's taken me so long to watch it because it's been out for nearly 10 years.
yeah, yeah,
It was so funny.
yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Anthony
Yeah, it's
Mackie
really
was
good.
great in it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Michael Shannon of it all,
Yeah, he
Mr.
was great.
Green,
Yep.
he's just superb. Yeah,
Yeah,
that made me a big fan of Michael Shannon, actually.
Lizzie Kaplan was great. They were all just so effortless.
Yes.
Yeah, I love performances like that where it just feels so natural. But yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
definitely tapped into something. I'd like to see. I mean, they could easily do a sequel for that film every 2 or 3 years.
Oh, couldn't they? That'd be
But
amazing.
yep,
I'd love
yep,
to get those three back together.
yep.
I thought that, sorry.
No, I agree with you.
I was going to say, I thought that scene where he swapped phones with Mindy Kaling's
Yes,
character, and he was getting dick pics sent to him at the dinner table by James, and it
that
turns
was the
out to
other
be
one.
James Franco.
That's
Yeah,
right. That was the other scene.
yeah. Because he was
That,
like,
that
"Do I want to suck a dick?" It's
that's
like he
right.
didn't know.
Oh,
Oh, it's funny.
that part I was rolling as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean,
so funny.
it's rare to get a scene that funny that you're literally crying, and it happened three or
Yeah,
four times at least.
it's a great. It's just great. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad other people like it because I think when it came out, it wasn't that well received.
yeah,
Was because I guess it's a bit not anti-Christmas, but a bit not in that normal Christmas movie mold because it is a bit
sure.
raunchy, obviously. So, a bit of an
Yeah,
adult humor, and yeah, that's it's great. Look, what is it? It's a 6.4 on IMDb, which is pretty good,
that's not
honestly.
bad for comedy.
Yeah, on IMDb, especially like there can be anything six and above on IMDb is worth checking out.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
it's down to your number one.
All right, so my number one film is the one that I enjoyed the most, I think, when seeing it recently. I saw it in the cinema and absolutely loved it. It's Violent Night with David Harbour.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. I did not like it at all.
Really? What didn't you like about it?
When did I watch it? I'm gonna have to look at my letterbox here because I watched it in the middle of this year.
Oh, recently. Okay.
Well, I think my David Harbour's just choosing such shitty projects. Oh no, you're not gonna like my review. I watched it
That's
on
okay.
Christmas last year.
Okay.
And only gave it, and for me to give a movie half a star is a big
Oh,
deal. I must
that's
have
low.
really hated it.
Yeah.
And that's your number one.
Read your review.
Okay. So I'm going to read it verbatim. And I was like, just get the fuck out of here with this shit. Who or what was this movie made for? I feel like I'm going to offend the hell out of you. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not offended. I think it's funny.
Christmas family values people aren't watching an ultra violent gore fest, and gore fest violent sickos aren't watching a family value Xmas movie.
That's fair.
I'll put movie in quotes. It's as funny as cancer and as enjoyable as being on the receiving end of a beating with three fire pokers at the same time. David Harbour
Uh,
needs new representation because he makes the worst choices in projects. Easily the worst film I've seen this year and probably the worst of the last 10 years. This movie can suck my sweaty balls. That was a
no,
rant.
that
That
was
was
a
a
rant.
rant.
You really didn't like it.
No, I really didn't like it.
I particularly like the scene. I'm a huge Home Alone fan, and so the scene,
Right.
like the violent Home Alone scene where he sets all the traps and they're super violent. That had me in stitches. Oh, that's funny that you didn't like it though.
Yeah, I'm just, this is why I like Letterbox, mate, because I can go back and go, why didn't I like it? And then
Yeah.
I'll go on a rant like that. I might not look again with movies. I just might not have caught me at the right time. So
No, I get it.
yeah,
When I'm doing my little short reviews on the Instagram page that I do,
yeah,
it's hard because there are films that I watch that
mm,
are good. Like a good example would be like the new Furiosa film from George Miller, the sequel to Fury Road. It's
yes,
a
yeah,
good movie. It
yeah,
is a good movie. Like it's competently
hmm
made. It's a good
hmm
story. There's nothing wrong with it per se. But the point of the page is like, should I watch this? And the answer is
mm,
no. Like really, the answer is no
mm,
because everything that happens in that movie, you've already seen, and you've seen it better on Fury Road. It doesn't give you anything new. It doesn't give you anything different. It's already been done 10 years ago. I just don't see a point in it. And so I feel conflicted with that because I should probably have given it a thumbs up, but I
mm.
ultimately I will give it a thumbs down just because I just don't really see the point in it.
Think
And
people
so,
worth checking it out.
yeah, I mean, if people want to know if something's good or not, they'll look at IMDb, right?
Mm.
But there's a difference between something being good or necessarily wanting to watch it. There's plenty of good movies that I don't really have any interest in watching.
Well, it's interesting how you can just. I like the fact that you've done that because then you've paid me back nicely for my hate on Violent Night because I really like Furiosa, but I'll tell you a caveat behind that. Like when I was
Mm,
watching and I was like, yeah, this is okay. This is okay. But it wasn't until like the last standoff that I was like, okay, this is great. Like I felt like I got what they were going for. And that was because
sure.
Chris Hemsworth just said a line that wasn't hope, it was an instinct. I'm not going to read out my review for this for Furiosa because that's not what the show's about. But
It's not a
um,
Christmas movie.
no, no. But yeah, just just a good example of how movies catch us at different times, and I'll
Oh,
always be an
absolutely.
advocate for that. Just because you don't like a movie, you just might not have been in the right space at the right time, or had
Absolutely.
that same life experience, couldn't empathize with it enough. I don't know. There's just so
And
many
you can
reasons.
revisit, yeah, you could revisit later and feel completely differently.
Absolutely, I've done that countless times where I've gone, this movie sucks, or I've gone, and vice versa, where movies are great, and then I just go, no, what the hell was I thinking? Yeah,
So
it's
what's,
my number one.
yeah, I think I know what
Yeah.
it's going to be, but we're about to see.
Oh, okay. If you have guessed right, let me know. But my number one is the new absolute rotation is the holdovers. Um,
Oh, of course. I thought we haven't talked about that yet. I thought that might be at the top. No, that's not what I was thinking it was going to be, but we'll talk about that after.
okay, yeah, the holdovers again. I watched this again recently for the second time, and it is a look. It is a Christmas movie. It has all those themes behind it. People learning lessons and just coming together as a found family, and yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. It has that whole because it's set in the 70s. It has this
Yeah.
70s vibe behind it. It's nice and grainy. It's Paul Giamatti is just doing his best. And as much as I love Paul Giamatti, he's doing his best work in this.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah, and when I watched it for the first time last year around this time, I called out Divine Joy is she's got to at least be nominated for an Oscar for this. I was loved that she won. Dominic Sessa was Find of the Year as a young actor. Yeah, he puts in a stunning performance for a first film. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Funny as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
I think the other day when we talked about it, you sold me on it, so I'm gonna watch it before next Wednesday.
You've not seen
No, I still
Holdovers
haven't seen
yet.
it. No, not yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I will watch it this week.
Definitely. I would. Do you have the Blu-ray? Did you buy it yet, or?
No, I haven't watched it yet. Is it on?
Okay.
I'll have a look. I'll have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
look.
I would.
I have
I,
time.
I'm going to say wait for the Boxing Day sale, but you won't watch it after Boxing Day.
No, that's right. I won't. So
It's not.
did that come out? Was it a year ago? I thought it came out just before the Oscars. Was it January?
No, well, it might have been come out in Australia in January, but
Oh
it was
yeah, okay.
definitely like it was. Yeah, it was last in the US. Everywhere else, it was last year.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Because
that's
I
what
remember
got
when it came out, someone told
nominations.
me that it was Christmas related, and I thought that's weird. It's out in January. Why would they do that?
Well, it's set over. Yeah, that's Australian release date schedules for you. It's set over the Christmas period, and it's got definitely got Christmas themes around it. So yeah, the best Christmas movie for me this century. That's
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll count down our top five. Do you want to count down your top fives and your
Yeah.
5 to 1, and I'll do mine, and then we'll get into honorable mentions.
Yeah. What do you mean?
As in count down what you actually did, just to remind people
Yeah.
what
Oh,
you.
yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So 5 was Last Christmas. 4 was The Night Before. 3 was Bad Santa 2. 2 was Just Friends. And number 1 was Violent Night.
Okay, my top five was Tokyo Godfathers, Bad Santa, one, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Night Before, and The Holdovers was my top five.
I thought
How
your
many?
number 1 was going to be Elf,
Oh,
which
Elf.
which
Elf
is
is an
my honorable
honorable
mention.
mention. I'll tell
Yeah.
you why Elf never made my top five. And look, I think Elf is fantastic,
Yeah, me too.
but I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, me too.
My kids were born in 2007 and they were
Yep.
premature. So they were in hospital for a few weeks. I have twins. So they were in hospital for a few weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital, that movie played on loop. So I reckon I watched that movie probably 30 times,
Yeah, okay.
part by part over that 3 week period. And
Yeah, that would reckon.
it's hard to watch now. I mean, I do
Yeah,
love it and I've watched it a few times since, but it's something I can't revisit every year at the moment.
I
Just
get
so,
you.
yeah,
Yeah. My son was premature as well, and so
right.
I can imagine how seeing that might make you sort of bring you back to that time as well. Which is it's hard visiting
Yeah,
the
it
hospital
does.
and yeah,
It does. I mean, yeah, I've kind of repressed a lot of memories from that time, and I think that might
sure.
be from sleep deprivation as well. But yeah, it's yeah, you're right. It does every time I do watch it. I do think of sitting in that hospital chair looking up
Yeah.
at the ceiling TV.
It's not an
Yeah.
ideal viewing experience.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Not when you've no, no,
Uh,
not, well, trying to survive really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Um,
your honorable mention list?
how many do you have? How many honorable mentions do you have?
I just have one other one.
Oh, could you name your one and I'll go through
Yeah,
my list.
it's Krampus.
Okay, you've
So
not seen Krampus. Yeah.
it's fun. It's got Adam
Yeah.
Scott in it, who I think really carries it. He's
Oh
a
yeah.
really fun actor. Yeah, it's a Christmas horror film. Puts a bit of a dark sort of spin on it. Creepy elves. It's fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay. I
kind of a
just.
it's. I don't think from memory it wasn't particularly gory, so it's not. I wouldn't. I'm not sure if I would say it's quite like a family Christmas film. A little
Hmm.
bit darker than something like Gremlins, but in a good way.
Yeah. Okay. That's something I should check out. To be honest, I'm well aware of it. So yeah. Okay. So my other ones were yeah, as we said, Elf. I also have Klaus. I'll have a couple of Netflix movies on here.
I saw Klaus on a few people's lists, and I remember
Mm.
hearing about it when it came out. It's good, is it?
Klaus is fantastic. It's like a Santa origin story. Beautiful style of animation. I don't ask me what the style's called, but it's
I
really
think I saw some
lovely.
pictures that looked really nice.
Yeah, it's just such a I don't know. It's a whole vibe of a film, but I liked it really for the fact that it's an origin story for Santa. Long story short, and I mean it's cool. It's just kind of fun, and yeah, just a wonderful story. Couldn't go through an honorable mentions without having Love Actually. I quite like Love Actually.
I
Again,
like it as well.
yeah.
It's been interesting watching people's opinion on it change in the last, especially in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it cops a lot of hate, but also cops a lot of love. I'm in the middle of it, and I don't think it's a movie that's as a Christmas movie major central you can't not mention.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
yeah, my next one is something again I've only seen once, and I loved it, and I think it's probably the best use of 3D I think I've ever seen. And anyone listening to this is probably going to laugh, but a very Harold and Kumar Christmas is awesome.
oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's so. Oh, look, I was probably stoned when I watched it when it came out. I remember laughing my ass off, and the 3D just. slaying me, like, because
Yeah.
it's very deliberate in its 3D. Like, it breaks the fourth wall a lot, and they just
Yeah.
do stupid shit to freak you out. Like, because it expects that you're going to be stoned when you're watching it, so they do shit to freak you out, and that's what made it a bit more enjoyable as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Watching it now probably wouldn't hold up the same because I don't do that stuff anymore. So yeah, it's but yeah, again, another one I should be looking to try and find to watch it somewhere. The next one I want to mention, because this is also on a lot of people's lists and should be mentioned, is The Holiday. I think that's
Is
a,
that the Sandra Bullock Ryan Reynolds one?
no,
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 that's The
that's The
Proposal.
Proposal. The Holiday is Kate Winslet, Jack Black, Jude Law, and Cameron Diaz. So
Oh,
they
I've heard
swap
of that film.
houses.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of that
Yeah,
film.
I think it's a little. It's not. It's okay. It's pretty good. But it's a little bit overrated. I don't think the reputation that it has as a Christmas movie is totally deserved.
Yeah.
But it's fun enough. Yeah, it's fun enough. And my last one is another Netflix movie, which again, it's not too bad, especially if you have younger kids to watch it with, is The Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell.
Oh, yeah, I like those. They were fun.
Yeah,
I do love Kurt Russell.
yeah, Kurt Russell's. I mean, you can't not like Kurt Russell, but I never watched the second one, but I do really remember liking the first one quite a bit. So
Yeah, that
that,
is a fun film. I
yeah,
agree.
that's my last honorable mention. So
That's nice. That's a good list.
yeah, yeah. I mean, considering that's not a bad effort. I mean, if you're listening to this before Christmas, I mean, there's a few there for you to choose from, and maybe hold over to next Christmas as well. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's going to wrap us up, Jem. So, just for anyone, also, Jem, you will be on a regular show sometime in the future. I've interviewed him about his collection. So, where do you want to send people? What do you want to plug?
If you want to see my little short reviews that I do of films, and then you can come and disagree with me, you can go on Instagram and look at Should I Watch This Gem?
Yes, I'm going to recommend that. If you also want to catch me, KerbSide_collections on Instagram and KerbRider on Letterboxd. Thanks for tuning in. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year as well. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to be on the show, send me a DM on my Instagram page and we can hook some time up. That'll be fantastic. This KerbSide Collections is a part of the SPDM crew. Happy to have you here. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Merry
Goodbye.
Christmas.